think about the last time you were absolutely certain you were right about something. Maybe it was an argument with a friend. Maybe it was a work decision you pushed hard for. Maybe it was a skill you thought you picked up quickly. Cooking, investing, speaking another language. You felt confident, clear, maybe even a little impatient with people who seemed to be overthinking it. And then something happened. You got more experience, you learned more, and slowly that confidence started to crack. Suddenly, the thing you thought was simple wasn't. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The moment you felt most sure of yourself was probably the moment you knew the least. And the more you actually learned, the less certain you became. That's not a coincidence, that's a pattern, and it has a name. It's called the Dunning-Kruger Effect. In simple terms, people with limited knowledge or skill in a specific area tend to dramatically overestimate their own ability. And on the flip side, people who are genuinely expert often underestimate how good they actually are. The less you know, the more confident you feel. The more you know, the more you realize how much you don't know. It sounds paradoxical, but once you understand why it happens, it makes complete sense. And before you sit back thinking, oh, that's definitely someone else's problem, that's actually one of the most Dunning-Kruger things you can think. Because this bias doesn't discriminate. It hits smart people, educated people, experienced people. It hits all of us in different areas at different times. The question isn't whether you've experienced it, it's where you're experiencing it right now. The effect gets its name from a landmark 1999 study by two Cornell University psychologists, Justin Kruger and David Dunning. Their paper was titled Perfectly, Unskilled and Unaware of It. Here's what they did. They took undergraduate students and tested them on 3 specific areas: logical reasoning, English grammar, and the ability to identify what's actually funny, humor perception. These aren't trivial skills. They require genuine knowledge and self-awareness to do well. After each test, students were asked to estimate 2 things: how well they personally performed and how they thought they ranked compared to everyone else. The results were striking. Students who scored in the bottom quartile, the lowest 25%, didn't just perform poorly, they dramatically overestimated their own performance. On average, students who scored in the 12th percentile believed they were performing around the 62nd percentile. They thought they were above average. They were in the bottom 8th. But here's what makes the study even more interesting. The effect works both ways. Students who scored in the top quartile, genuinely skilled performers, actually underestimated how well they'd done. They assumed the tests were straightforward for everyone else too, because the answers felt obvious to them. Kruger and Dunning's explanation was elegant. Accurate self-assessment requires the same underlying skills as actual performance. If you don't know enough about something to do it well, you also don't know enough to recognize that you're doing it badly. The knowledge gap creates a blind spot, and that blind spot is precisely what makes you feel confident. Dunning later described it this way: people operating from incomplete knowledge make mistakes without recognizing those mistakes as mistakes. The errors feel like correct answers. Once you know this pattern, you see it constantly. Personally, think about the first time you tried to learn something new, a musical instrument, a new language, a sport. In the very beginning, many people feel a surge of early confidence. A few chords on a guitar and you're already imagining yourself performing. A week of Duolingo and you're half planning a trip. Then you get deeper in and you realize how much you don't know. That confidence dips hard. This is sometimes called the peak of Mount Stupid, the brief, glorious summit of early knowledge where everything still feels manageable. In the workplace, studies have found Dunning-Kruger patterns in medical students assessing their own clinical skills, in managers rating their leadership ability, and in new employees evaluating their own performance. In one study of medical students, top performers raised their self-assessments after getting feedback. They updated. Bottom performers barely changed at all. The feedback didn't land because they didn't have the framework to process it. In politics and public debate, this one is uncomfortable but important. research consistently shows that people with the least knowledge about complex policy issues, economics, climate science, foreign policy, tend to express the strongest, most confident opinions, while genuine experts in those fields are far more likely to hedge, qualify, and express uncertainty. Confidence, it turns out, is often inversely correlated with expertise. The loudest voice in the room is rarely the most informed one. And here's the deeply human part of all this. Experts suffer from their own version too. They sometimes forget what it felt like not to know. They assume things are obvious that aren't. They lose patience with beginners. The curse of knowledge, a close cousin of Dunning-Kruger, means that expertise can actually make you worse at teaching, communicating, or empathizing with someone just starting out. So how do you actually work against this? 3 techniques that help. Technique 1. Seek disconfirming feedback actively. Don't just ask people, how did I do? Ask them specifically, what did I miss? What would someone with more experience do differently here? Most feedback we receive is social. People soften it, omit the hard parts. You have to explicitly invite the uncomfortable version. The experts who keep improving are almost always the ones who have built systems to get honest feedback, not just validation. Technique 2. Track your confidence against your outcomes over time. Keep a simple record, a note, a journal, anything, of decisions you felt confident about and what actually happened. Over months, patterns emerge. You'll start to notice which domains your confidence is well calibrated in and which ones it reliably misleads you. This is exactly what professional forecasters and investors do. It sounds tedious. It's one of the most useful things you can do for your judgment. Technique 3. Learn enough to reach the dip. The antidote to the peak of Mount Stupid isn't less learning, it's more. The dip in confidence that comes with deeper knowledge isn't a sign you're getting worse. It's a sign you're getting accurate. If you've recently started something new and you feel your early confidence deflating, that's not failure, that's progress. The goal is to push through to the other side, where confidence rebuilds on a foundation of actual competence. The Dunning-Kruger effect doesn't mean you're dumb, it means you're human. The difference between someone stuck in it and someone moving through it is almost always the same thing. A willingness to be wrong, to update, and to keep learning even when it gets uncomfortable. The Dunning-Kruger effect is one of those ideas that sound simple but quietly changes how you see conversations, decisions, and confidence, including your own. The smartest thing you can do after watching this isn't to go find all the overconfident people in your life. It's to ask yourself, where am I on that curve right now? What am I most confident about? And is that confidence earned? If this made you think, subscribe. Next up, we're looking at why ordinary people in the crowd will watch something terrible happen and do nothing, even when they could easily help. It's darker than it sounds. And it explains more about human behavior than almost any other concept in psychology. See you there?